Hello there, this is Miriam, holistic life coach and mind-body practitioner at PainOutsidetheBox. And today I'm going to be sharing 3 things that are often overlooked by chronic pain sufferers who are pursuing a mind-body approach. And also these are the same 3 things that I learned even more about this year. So they were 3 takeaways from me this year that helped me understand what's going on more and more when it comes to TMS, and that also helped me along in my own personal journey. Okay, so the first takeaway for me personally this year, and that applies to so many chronic pain sufferers out there, is that this constant search for approval, recognition, this constant need of being liked by others can do way more harm than good and is often fuel for mind-body symptoms. So usually this need for approval and recognition stems from childhood, usually childhood trauma, whereby the individual would have felt inadequate in some way, and as a coping mechanism, the individual would have tried to compensate for this lack of recognition or lack of support or lack of approval through his or her behavior, by doing things, succeeding at things, and therefore getting the approval. I've noticed this in myself. I had an ambitious personality, I still do, but this year in particular, I noticed more and more that sometimes being overly ambitious about getting approval or getting recognized for whatever I'm doing isn't helping. It was a recipe for inner rage, inner tension. It was a recipe for worry and fear, and it wasn't really doing any good to my body. In fact, when I thought about it or when I got too consumed in this kind of mindset, I would start to get mind-body symptoms myself. And the way I look at this today is that it's impossible to be approved of and recognized by everyone. Whatever you do, there's going to be someone who opposes it or someone who has a different opinion, and that's okay. So always check in with what you really believe in, what you really want to do, and always follow that path as much as possible and forget about getting that approval or recognition. You might still get it eventually in ways you might not even expect, but it's usually not exactly from the people you are seeking it from or from that specific avenue that you are seeking it from. So just be aware if you have this kind of tendency, because it can generate so much tension, and it has been a big one for me personally, which I thought I'd share. Number 2 most overlooked issue with people who have TMS or chronic mind-body pain is that they might have a tendency to self-sacrifice. They have a tendency to postpone their happiness to some indeterminate point in the future. So they would kind of, let's say, work a lot or pursue numerous responsibilities or duties, and they would tell themselves like, oh yeah, that pleasurable thing I had been wanting or planning, that can wait. Okay, I can't afford to do this. I don't have time to do this, and we're not doing this year. And they would be so self-righteous about this, they wouldn't realize how angry their inner self would be. Because we must remember that we always have an inner child inside that wants things for itself, that wants its needs met. And if these needs are being denied or constantly postponed, this will generate so much inner tension, okay? So self-sacrifice typically doesn't work. Of course, there are duties, there are responsibilities, there are things you've got to do in life, but these always have to be balanced out by other activities and other things that are going to appease this inner child, that are going to give you something of what you want. And yeah, I learned this the hard way, because when I denied myself something constantly, I started to get mind-body symptoms. Even though I had consciously denied myself and what I wanted, it still didn't work, because I was still making my inner self really, really angry. And this was also what led to some of my decisions later on to pursue and prioritize certain activities that I enjoy more than other projects, for example. And the decision to budget for these activities, again, rather than to dedicate all my budget to other projects. So yeah, this has been a big one for me in 2023 as well. Last but not least, number 3, the most commonly overlooked obstacle among those who are addressing their symptoms as TMS or mind-body syndrome is the fact that they keep going to and fro between believing it's TMS and doubting or fearing that it is a physical, structural condition or illness that they have no control over. So the only way to get rid of doubt is to actually look at all the indicators that what you're suffering from is TMS. And once you have enough indicators, once you have ruled all the other issues, then you firmly decide to work on the TMS aspect. It takes a firm decision to treat symptoms as a mind-body condition. If you decide to treat them as a mind-body condition one day, and then the next day you revert back to, maybe I'm going to visit another specialist, maybe I'm going to do this procedure, maybe this, maybe that doesn't work. So my recommendation would be, if in doubt, consult a doctor who is aware of mind-body syndrome, okay? Rule out anything that is life-threatening, of course, definitely. But if you've had symptoms for a while, if you have your TMS evidence list showing all of the things that indicate that what you're suffering from probably has a mind-body dimension, then maybe it's time to decide, like, hey, yes, this is TMS. I'm not going to go to and fro again, at least not for the next months. I'm going to pursue this and just pursue it from a mind-body angle. And that's all. Because each time we go back to the old patterns of thinking of, what if my body is damaged? What if it's broken? What if I need this? What if I need that? We're taking ourselves out of that empowered mindset that we've started to build with regard to believing that our body is okay, that it's only TMS. And this is what keeps so many people stuck, because they either think that they will do the mind-body work as an adjunct, as something to support the recovery, and that typically doesn't work because they're still believing in the meantime that there's something wrong with their bodies. So learn as much as you can to be able to determine with more precision whether your symptoms are TMS or not. If in doubt, consult an expert. There are also various TMS questionnaires out there. So these will help you also with your confidence levels. And as you start to see all the indicators that point towards a mind-body issue, then you have to consciously decide to let go of the remote possibility that it's not a mind-body issue, okay? Assuming that your life is not in danger. And this particular insight was extremely important for me this year as well, because I had an elbow issue. I had elbow tendonitis, also called tennis elbow, and I thought that I had injured my elbow. It really might have started with a minor injury at the bouldering gym, so it could have been that. But then the pain wouldn't resolve, and I was wondering, is it TMS? Is it not TMS? I was reading in Sarno's books and other books that tendonitis and tennis elbow is usually a case of TMS, but I was still doubting and doubting. I was doing other treatments like physical therapy exercises, and I wasn't getting anywhere. So there was a point when I had to decide. Okay, there was a day when I noticed that my symptoms had temporarily gone away when I was distracted with something else. So that was one huge indicator. And there was another time when the opposite happened. I just sneezed and my elbow pain just shot up, just flared up, just because I sneezed. And I knew that didn't really make sense to be in so much pain because of something so harmless as a sneeze. So that's when I realized that, yes, there are enough indicators, and therefore I am going to treat it exclusively as TMS. And after that, like within a week or two, my symptoms just disappeared because there was no more doubt left. So that's it. Those are the 3 main takeaways from 2023 for me. I hope that they help some of you also get to the bottom of why you're in pain, and they help provide you with insight. So that's all from me for today. I wish you lovely holidays ahead and a lovely new year ahead as well. Bye-bye.